Do you wonder, do hashtags work on Pinterest? Should I still be using Pinterest hashtags in 2021? Are hashtags good for pin descriptions? How many hashtags should I be adding? There are so many questions about using hashtags on Pinterest. Hey bosses, it's Natalie Bardo, your Pinterest coach here. If you love Pinterest tips, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe and click that bell to get more tips because I've got new Pinterest videos each and every week. So back to that important question as to whether or not you should still be using Pinterest hashtags. I've been seeing so many posts, maybe you've been posting these posts in Facebook groups asking, should I be using Pinterest hashtags? And if so, how do I use them? But before I answer that question, I wanted to do a quick backstory. Let's talk about the rise and fall. Yeah, the fall. You can probably guess what my answer is going to be of Pinterest hashtags. So back in September 2017, Pinterest was excited to announce that hashtags have now come to Pinterest. This is one of those moments where Pinterest thought it was a social media site and got super excited and jumped on the hashtag bandwagon, right? Some of us knew where this was going, but maybe we didn't really know where it was going. Anyways, so it's so interesting because you fast forward just a few years and in late 2020, all of a sudden there's all these rumblings about hashtags no longer being relevant. When hashtags first came out, they were a great thing. It was a way for users to find your content. They were clickable, they were searchable. It was a good thing. But of course, the spammers had to ruin it for all of us. Lots of spammy accounts and bots were using hashtags to figure out what content was trending when, and basically stealing your pins, stealing so many content creators' pins and filling them with links to not so good, not so wanting to be associated with websites. Even if you search for hashtags on the Pinterest website, absolutely nothing comes up. They're like, hashtags, oh no, we're not even doing that anymore. We don't even know what it is. So yeah, blame it on the spammers, blame it on the bots, because as of now, Pinterest hashtags are dead, are done. You should not still be using hashtags on Pinterest. So if that's the answer you were looking for, you've got it. But you want to keep watching because I'm going to tell you exactly what to do instead of using Pinterest hashtags. I should note that quite a few accounts have been flagged as spam, or maybe you've noticed that your Pinterest traffic has taken a major nosedive and maybe your account has been suspended or even blocked. I've been seeing a lot of users also posting that when they contact Pinterest, Pinterest says to them, you probably don't want to use hashtags. So I actually found one of these emails. You can take a look here. And I just want to read to you what Pinterest is saying about hashtags. Upon checking your account, notice that there are hashtags used in the descriptions of your pins. Please do not use emojis, which will also impact the distribution and performance of your content. So they're also saying we don't encourage users to use hashtags in creative strategies, and that's because hashtags have been abused by spammers to gain distribution. So Pinterest themselves is saying, hey, spammers are using hashtags. So if you're not a spammer, don't use hashtags. So what do you do instead? What is the alternative to using hashtags in your pin descriptions? I really hope you weren't adding them to your board descriptions because you're going to have to update and remove that as well. So if you've been using hashtags or you watch this video because you're like, I want to know how to use hashtags, I want to know if I should be putting them in my pin descriptions, I'm going to share with you an alternative that's actually going to help your pins perform better. So number one, you need to instead create SEO rich descriptions that are detailed with all of your keywords. I have a whole video on how to use Pinterest SEO. So instead of searching for hashtags, I want you to search for those keywords instead, using tools like Pinterest Trends, like the Pinterest search bar. You want to know what are those phrases that people are using. So instead of doing something like this, where you're just filling your pin description with a whole bunch of hashtags, or even just keywords that are not in sentences, don't do that either. You're going to make sure that you're writing sentences and using proper structure. Don't just drop hashtags, don't just drop keywords. Write actual sentences that make sense. Got it? The second thing I want you to use are alt descriptions. I want you to add these alt tags to your pins. So recently, Pinterest added the ability for you to add alt descriptions, which is basically a description of whatever your image or pin video or story pins are about. These are for screen readers. So anyone who is visually impaired, they're able to understand what your pin is all about. It's all about accessibility. We want everyone to be able to be inspired by Pinterest. The third thing I want you to do is to add tags to your video pins. So if you're uploading video pins, be sure to just select those tags. Make sure that you are actually helping Pinterest to understand what your video pin is about. It's going to increase the distribution. So just a reminder that if you want to add those video tags, that's only something that you're able to do on the Pinterest website when you upload a pin. So right here, when you're uploading a pin on Pinterest, we can see that even without adding an image, we have add alt text. So you're going to want to add that. But when you also add a video pin like this, we can see we have an additional feature that's allowing us to add tags. So you're going to tag your content. Just like when you're searching for keywords, just type them in. So this is about spring cleaning. So to find your tags, you would just type in the first word and scroll down and see what comes up. So I know there's spring cleaning checklist because my content is about spring cleaning. So take the time to add in these extra tags, and that's not all you can do. So I know another question you might have is, okay, if I've been using Pinterest hashtags, should I remove them from my content? Should I go back and update all my pins? And that's a very good question, but it might be one that's impossible. If you're like me, you have so many pins on Pinterest. Like honestly, so many pins, over 130,000 pins. Like, am I expected to go back and update all of these pins? Probably not. So what I suggest instead is if you have any pins that are performing very well, like they're in your top pins, it might be worth your time to go in and to update those pin descriptions, because I've got lots of pins from many ages ago that have these hashtags in their descriptions, and it's probably a good thing for me to remove them, especially if this pin is still going well. Another thing that you can do is make sure that all of your scheduled pins, so these are pins that you have going out, either they're scheduled in Pinterest itself or they're scheduled in Tailwind, that they don't have any hashtags in their description. So you might want to go and check your Tailwind to make sure that the pins you have scheduled going out don't have hashtags. So as you can see, this is something I need to do. So you might want to hop in here and change the descriptions. So right now, if you're doing repins, this is another thing that you need to look out for. If you're in Tailwind communities, or if you're repinning other people's pins, you want to make sure that there are no hashtags in those descriptions. But unfortunately with Tailwind right now, you can't actually alter any descriptions of repinned pins, but you can for your own. So here I have a pin that I probably scheduled about a year ago. I'm going to want to come in here and just delete these hashtags and save my changes. So instead of using hashtags, and we can see all these pins that I'm repinning, hashtags have been the standard for so long. I'm going to just want to make sure that I don't have any of those hashtag pins going out, and you want to make sure that as well. And lastly, if you're pinning seasonal content, I've got a whole video on that. Be sure to check it out. Pins that you are repinning, say it's the season of spring. So a lot of my pins that I have going out now, this is content I created last year, the year before last. So a year from now, I'm going to be sharing pins So you just want to make sure that any seasonal pins that you're resharing, because they're relevant, obviously you're not pinning that pin a million times, it's relevant for now, just make sure you're removing those hashtags. So if you are wondering, should I still be using hashtags? I hope you know that the answer is no. Do not use hashtags. Hashtags are bad. So if you see any of those YouTube videos that are still ranking for some reason, telling you to use hashtags, I've seen some that were even created this year by experts who are telling you to use hashtags. They are liars. I'm sorry to say it, but don't believe them. Don't use hashtags. Hashtags are bad. So I want to also share with you what some other top experts had to say. I posted my survey in my best Facebook group, which is the Mediavine community. They're all people who are earning income from their blogs. And I wanted to know, are they still using hashtags? What do they think? Over 120 expert bloggers replied, and 94 votes for I'm not using hashtags anymore. 22 votes for I'm using hashtags in pinned descriptions. And I'm sure they would say that they're only using a few because I know there are still some content creators doing that. And about 16 voters said I never use hashtags. So yeah, good on them. I'm totally feeling old because I've literally been through the rise and fall of Pinterest hashtags. I remember when they came, and I'm actually kind of happy that I'm still here to see them go, because anything that helps Pinterest remember that they're not a social media site, I am all for it. So there you have it. I hope this helps you with your Pinterest strategies going forward. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below letting me know, are you still using hashtags? And of course, don't forget to subscribe because I've got new Pinterest videos coming your way each and every week. And if you have any other burning questions about Pinterest, be sure to check out this video. It's going to be helpful for you. So see you in the next one. This was Natalie Bardo, and I'm super happy to be your Pinterest coach.